Good afternoon. Is this on? Can you hear me out there? Yes, it's on. Okay, I'm calling this meeting to order. Welcome to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the best Rotary Club in the universe. Today's invocation is with Chuck Rule.
Let us pray. We thank you for the opportunity to be Rotarians, to help our community. Thank you for the rain, because hopefully it'll help the fish move up the river. And bless this food to our youth. Amen. Our flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, please join us in the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And today's song is also with Mr. Rule.
Well, I guess we're going to have to do "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
We know other songs, you know.
I know, but I had a different one last week.
Okay.
But you know, they were top of the league here yesterday. So all right, take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't know if I ever get back. Root for the Horners. You don't hear me so shame.
Well, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes around in the old ball game.
Great job. Okay, be seated, everyone. All right, besides our program, let's go through visiting Rotarians. Are there any visiting Rotarians besides Joe Jones, who I see back in the back?
Hey, Joe. Yeah. Woo.
You know, every time that Joe makes an appearance here, I feel like it's almost a celebrity appearance, because I'm so excited to see Joe, because you can't help but smiling when he's around. So
Pretty much.
It's great to see you, Joe. Okay, any other visitors?
I have Niall with me. Please stand, Niall. We're gonna, now that my traveling's over, we're gonna start chainsaw carving here in a couple weeks. All right, John.
I've got my wife Sylvia here and Chuck's wife Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Welcome. All right, so right after the meeting today, we have a Paul Harris committee meeting back in the back corner. Wave your hand, Mark. You'll be seeing Mark then. So if you're on the Paul Harris committee, he is meeting at the back table right afterwards. So a few things are also floating around that you will see. You will see the 24-25 Rotary membership booklet. Please take a look, make sure your email is correct, and make sure that you also take a peek at the new committees. We're making some changes and you should know what you're doing. And I also emailed a PDF copy via email. If you see any changes and you're online, feel free to just send us an email, and Sheena and I will make sure that Club Runner is updated and that the printed booklet is updated. Let's see, you'll also see on your table a sheet, and it's 3 pages, front and back, 2 pages if you count the front and back. And it is basically the schedule for the next couple of months into December that I know of. So this is really, really helpful. I'm going to put this on the website as well under the calendar. But if you're one of our friends who hates technology, feel free to take this with you and keep it, because then you'll know what's happening. And let's see, don't forget, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th is the District 50/50 conference. May 10th is the Camp Rotary auction. And I think that may be all the new business. Anyone have any other announcements? Chris Rothenbuehler.
If you guys are planning on going to the district conference on the 4th, 5th, well, bowling the 4th, conference on the 5th, and then the Camp Corey on the 6th, they are talking about closing registration down tomorrow afternoon. So.
Okay, shall we do the new member induction now, Chris? All right, come on up.
President-elect Ruth, fellow Rotarians, and guests. It is indeed an honor to induct Matt Baxter as the newest member of the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club. The mission of Rotary is to provide service to others, promote high ethical standards, and advance world understanding, goodwill, peace through its fellowship and business, professional, and community leaders. We are not a political organization, but are dedicated to the practice of good citizenship. We are not a charitable organization, but are dedicated to the helping of fellow man. We are not a religious organization, but are dedicated to the ideals of morality, high ethical standards. We bring together our individual skills, resources, qualities of leadership to improve the quality of life for people not only in our local community, but also in communities around the world. Matthew, you have been chosen for the membership into the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley because the Rotarians of this club feel that you possess the qualities of leadership in your field, the qualities in personal conduct, the willingness to share those qualities of personal conduct, all directed towards the pursuance of Rotary's mission. It has been said that when a Sedro Woolley Rotarian is asked to perform, the answer is yes. President-elect Ruth, fellow Rotarians and guests, please join me in welcoming Matt Baxter as the newest member of the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley.
So Matt, in there you have your packet with all your information. Dawn is Matt's sponsor and helped me out with the induction today. So thank you to Dawn. And he will be your mentor as you go on this little journey here we like to call Rotary. So thank you and welcome.
All right, I think we're ready for a raffle, John.
Okay, we are ready for a raffle. Raffle team, what do we got? I'm going to call a number here. 33.
Shut the front door.
Come on, President-elect. Spin that roll thing. Here we go. Do you feel lucky? Do you feel lucky? And let's see. Oh, and you gave up alcohol, so you probably have to give that to winner picks table to pay $2. Oh yeah, well there's 5 tables. Go ahead, pick one.
Oh, I choose.
How do you choose?
You know, Joe makes me so happy.
Yeah. Joe makes you happy.
Like Joe.
Yeah, Joe's table. Okay, $2, you guys. Okay, next number, team. 53. 53 is the winner right there. 53. Rich is the winner. You're the big winner, Rich. Okay, here. You're gonna get the big money right now. Yeah, I can feel the big money coming. Here we go. Here we go, and it's beer. And we have no beer. Yeah, go ahead, spin again. Might have cost you less if you didn't spin, but we'll see. And we got, yeah, winner pays $2. You would have been better not spinning. I love this game. I love this game. 49. Do we have a 49? Boy, this table, what's kind of lopsided table.
Take the wine.
49 and, oh, what about it? Aren't you a risk taker? Okay, all right, here we go. This is our last one. One more. 38. How about a 38? Sheena's got the 38. She's feeling lucky. She's running up here. Feeling lucky. And she's going to spin. And we got beer, which we have no beer. So spin again. Or take wine. You don't want wine. $20 cash right there. Told you it felt lucky. $20 cash. Okay, we all done? Okay,
You
my
want-
turn.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we're gonna. So first of all, we're gonna have some happy bucks, so make sure you're ready to be happy after I get through with you. We all get these little booklets, and really good Rotarians read the whole thing and really understand it and whatever. And lousy Rotarians that need to get fined, they don't know what's in this book. So we're gonna do some easy stuff first. We'll start with this table. Hey, Ruth, could you flip that thing up real quick? Here. Oh, geez, you're losing my thing. Okay, so I'm easy. We're gonna do 2 questions. So what year were we chartered? Sedro Woolley. 21, you lose. It's 22. Okay. You guys, that was the easy question. So who was our first president? Okay, you guys just pay. Sorry, Joe, you were in a bad table. Our first president was Paul Rodius. Paul Rodius. See, you guys knew it. Okay, how about over here? What's our club number? What's our club number? We have a number. We're club such and such. 188. He got it right. Okay, also going to give another number. So who was the first McIntyre president? I mean, no, when was the when was the first McIntyre president? What year? Well, the McIntyre is the president. The first one. Yeah. What was his first name? Okay, so that's a buck because it's Dave. And number 2, what year was it? Wrong McIntyre. 1929 must have been the father. So then the son, what year was the son? You guys are not reading these books. What year was Dave McIntyre? 1963. You guys just pay a lot of bucks. Okay, I'm going to go over to this table here. Les, your father must have been Ray. Is that correct? Ray? Yeah. So what year was Ray president? Hey, good job. All right. Okay. I have to give you a little more difficult one. So there's 2 Brickas that were presidents. Okay. So George and Dave, what year was George Bricka president? Ooh, close. 75. Okay. And then what year was David president? What? You don't get to look at the book. You guys just pay. David, what year were you president? 16, 17? I don't think so. 16, 17? Oh, 16 and 17. Okay, yeah, 16 and 17. 16 and 17. Okay, so I'm going to give you a good one. So we have a couple Rothenbuehlers that were president. Okay. And the first one was Howard. What year would that be? 74? Yeah, do you know? 73, 74? Any guess? Anyone that guesses is wrong, you gotta pay. In 1970. Okay. So then I'll give you another one. So, but Neil, what year was Neil? No, just pay. 1993. Okay, there's more than just presidents. So as Rotarians, you're supposed to go to other clubs. Okay. Where does the Burlington Morning Club meet? Nice. All right, you guys win. Okay, but you're not done. Okay, this is actually the wrong table. I gotta get a different. What country is our international president from right now? What country is our current international president from? India. Yeah. Yeah, of course it's in this book. I mean, I've been studying this for hours. Okay. No? No. According to the book, it's Scotland. Gordon, you had it? See, we have smart people here. We have dedicated Rotarians. Okay. All right. And then our slogan for this year is Oh, you guys just got to pay. Okay. Did you guys pay already? Did you guys pay? Okay. How about Happy Bucks? Okay. I'm going to start. I just got done with a 2-week trip in Europe. We were in Rome and visited a bunch of churches and stuff. And then we went on to Camino and we hiked 100 miles in 7 days. And it was really, really beautiful. Highly recommend it. Where you're walking in the footsteps of saints and as a someone that built roads up in the woods. There was this road down this canyon, a modern road, but you could see where they blown rocks and stuff and everything. And I'm like, but I know the ancient road has to be here somewhere, and they went to put it through the rock. And so I'm walking along and I'm looking way down and I could see it all overgrown, kind of winding around by this creek. It was unbelievable that that trail was probably there pre-Roman times because there's no other way to get up that canyon other than walking through that thing. So it was really, really cool. It's absolutely gorgeous terrain and stuff. So I highly recommend anyone who wants to walk the Camino. Okay, Happy Bucks. Yep, David.
I've got a happy $10. Happy that my friend Stewart is here. Happy for my friend Chris. Thanks for my water bottle. I'll be using it. And then next week, Michael and I are heading to Pullman for our Sweet Flower Girls graduation from college. She's getting her degree in biology, and we're just so happy and proud of her.
I have a couple acknowledgement bucks. I'd like to acknowledge Joellen and her volunteer committee at the museum for getting it painted. It looks awesome. It'll be a big draw for around here. Good job.
Even though John's my chairman of the board, I'm going to do this happy buck. It's my 9th year this week at Helping Hands. There's been a few changes since I showed up that first day. And I'm just so thankful for what Rotary does and the donors in this room and the community and everything that happens at Helping Hands. And hopefully I have another 9 years left in me. And you have like 6 more years with me, at least.
Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, wow. Nice. Okay, Josh.
Thanks, Louis. Okay. Happy to announce that for the first time in a long time, the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife opened the lower river for hatchery kings from the Memorial Bridge to Gilligan Creek. And it opened yesterday. Yes, I tried it, but I didn't find any hookups. So if you don't know about it, that's the first time in a long time we've had hatchery Chinook open.
Good luck in the fishing.
I have 10 happy dollars because thanks to the generosity of the Jack and Shirley McIntyre Foundation, we were able to paint and do all of that wonderful work to the exterior. So I'm very happy.
Good job.
I'm married to a Rotarian, but he needs to announce this. Our granddaughter Jade is graduating from St. Martin's University this next week in education, and she's going on to Gonzaga for her master's.
Looks like we're all done.
All right. So we have a program. I'm not sure who's, oh, Chuck looks like he's all over introducing. It is a one-man show.
Our program today is on the Skagit County Historical Museum in LaConner, and Liz Stewart and Joe Wolf will be our presenters today. Welcome, and please come forward.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to share about the museum. Liz is one of our board members for the Historical Society, and I'm the director at the museum. Liz said, you know, you should probably say something about your connection to Sedro Woolley and upriver. And the first story that popped in my mind was my great uncle, Tom Cook, lived here in Woolley back in the day, had a number of rental houses and lived there. And my aunt, Hattie, kept house for him. And I would come up, I was probably 6 or 7, and I would come up and stay with Aunt Hattie. And every morning we'd get up and Uncle Tom would eat his breakfast and he'd go, okay, I got to go to my office. And he'd leave. And then he'd come home about supper time. And then the next day he'd eat breakfast and he'd go, I got to go to my office. So as a little kid, I'm thinking he's going where there's a secretary and typewriter and, you know, and I thought it was kind of funny that he went in jeans and a flannel shirt and suspenders, because on TV, if you went to the office, you wore a suit and tie. But I thought, oh, well, he's going to the office. Then I was in junior high and we're driving through town and I see this sign that says, My Office Tavern. And I went, wait a minute. And they go, you didn't know? Uncle Tom got up every morning and went to his office down the street. So, but I grew up in Snohomish County, but my folks grew up upriver, Hamilton, Lyman. And so we spent many a time coming up, as my dad would say, get us up and go, okay, we have to go up the Skagit today, visiting aunts and uncles and cousins and tons of relatives that lived up here. And so when I had the opportunity to work at the Historical Museum, it felt a little bit like coming home, and so that we can tell the stories of Skagit County. How many of you have been to the Skagit County Historical Museum in LaConner? Oh, good. Yay. How many of you been there since 3rd grade? We get so many people that come in and go, the last time I was here, I was on a field trip from school. So glad you all have come to visit us. A little bit about our history, how we got started. There's a Skagit County Pioneer Association who this summer will be doing, I think it's their 133rd picnic. And as the legend goes, and as with many of these stories, some of it is documented, but there's a lot of it that's probably just created from memories. That at one of the picnics, the Pioneer president said, somebody needs to start saving the history of our county. We need to start saving photographs and documents and objects and preserving the history of the county. And then as the story goes, the next year he got up front and he said, somebody needs to be starting this. We need to start saving things. And then how I envision it the next year, because in the minutes, we have the minutes from the meeting that says the following people were appointed to begin the Historical Society and begin saving things. I think the president went, you, and you're doing it. So they started collecting things. I have the charter for the Historical Society on the wall in my office with these list of names of people who were part of that beginning. And when they first started, they had a room at the very, very young Skagit Valley College that was just starting. And the college gave them a room to store things. And then students periodically would bring things out and do a little bit of an exhibit. But eventually, as the college grew, they said, we need the room, so you need to find a place to be. So they started scouting a wide variety of places around the county. They looked at a pickle barn someplace and looked near the college so they could share parking. Finally, a couple people that were on their board at the time said, well, we have these lots up at the top of the hill in LaConner. And the town of LaConner, it had been the water tower. So the town owned some lots. And they said, we will make a deal and we'll put this together. The original design for the building incorporated the water tower, but after a structural engineer looked at it, he said it's not going to work. So they designed our current building, and it was built in 1968. So for almost 56 years, we've been at the top of the hill. Our mission statement is that we shall preserve and present the county's unique heritage for the enjoyment and education of all. And as we know, our county is this wonderful, long, skinny from the North Cascades to the Salish Sea. So there's a lot of diversity in culture, in geography, in just communities. And so our charge is to preserve and present for the entire county. Our tagline is preserving Skagit history for all people for all time. We currently have 6 facilities, our museum building, and then just south of that is a research library. It's a converted home, and that's where our archives are upstairs and our offices are in that building. We also own the historic Skagit City School on Fur Island and the Rosario School out toward Anacortes. And then we also have 2 offsite warehouses where we store collections. In the museum itself, we have 3 galleries. The north and south wings have permanent displays, and the east wing rotates about 3 times a year. Our just past exhibit was Barber Historians, as someone was asking me about that earlier. And our current exhibit is called Signs, Everywhere Signs, The Art of Bob Mortensen. And Bob's a local sign maker. And when you see in the exhibit photos of all of these signs that he created and all of these logos that he created through the years around the county, he's also a very talented artist. And so we're celebrating his work. Coming in the fall, we're going to do an exhibit on Wick Peth, who was a rodeo. He refused to be called a clown. He was a bullfighter, and it is in many, many of the national halls of fame. His children have basically a museum exhibit in their barn, and they offered to share it with us to do a full exhibit. We're also going to talk in the exhibit about the history of rodeo in the county from the time it was on their back. They have a photo of what they feel is like the first rodeo thing that Wick as a kid built on their property. And then as rodeos grew, and we'll be including info on the history of the logger rodeo in that exhibit. That'll open in October. I mentioned the research library. We have books and photos and documents and oral histories and stories. Mary Densmore is our archivist. Mary's been with the museum for over 30 years, and she knows, she pretty much knows everything that's in the archives. So if you're looking for information on a building or a person and you want to see if we have any records, contact Mary, and by appointment, she's happy to get you all the info you need and share that with you. Some of the programs that we do, we have 4 opportunities for school students. We do museum tours at the building. We also do what we call Skagit City School experiences, where the students go to Skagit City School for the full day. And we have presenters that talk about Coast Salish history, about what it would have been like to be a student in that school back in the day when it was first built. We have people that talk about agriculture, logging, woodworking, and they also do handcrafts and play games outside like the children would have who were students there. So they have that full day experience. We also recently, over the past couple of years, were approached by the Burlington Edison School District to do a program for 7th graders, a full day immersion program. So we call it LeConner Now and Then, because they come to LeConner, they spend time in our museum, they spend time downtown in LeConner, which is the original town of Skagit County, and learn more about that history. They go across the channel to Swadeb Park and learn about the Coast Salish history and the Swinomish tribal history on their land. And then they do handcrafts up at Pioneer Park. So it's a full day experience for 7th graders. The first year we did it, we started with 2 classes, and this year, I believe we have a total of 6. And our goal would be to get every 7th grade class in the whole county to have an opportunity to come and participate in this program. We also have history trunks that teachers can check out, or one of our docents can bring them. It's kind of like a museum exhibit in a box. We have early school days, and we have the Coast Salish history with artifacts that can be presented, and like lesson plans, curriculum, things that the teachers can use in the classroom. For grown-ups, we have topics at the school, and Liz passed around, there's a little flyer about our current series. And this Sunday at 2 o'clock at the school, Mary Roberts Reinhardt, a presentation on her, I guess she was the American Agatha Christie of the day, and she came and hiked over Cascade Pass. And so Dr. Jesse Kennedy is our presenter, and he's a great storyteller. On July 14th, we have our Skagit City School picnic. This was a tradition that began as soon as the school closed in the 40s and has continued on. And so we just have a fun day on the grounds at the school. On July 29th, we're going to be hosting the 3rd Public History Day at Northern State. This was a program we started with the Sedro Woolley Museum and with the Port of Skagit, partnering together because we all looked at what was in our collection and we heard the stories that were going around of people having things from Northern State. And so working together collaborative, we said, you know, we need to be capturing these stories because the people who worked there are now passing, and learning more about it and sharing the stories. So we're going to have that this on July 29th. We'll have speakers. We're going to have some walking tours, and the port has actually opened one of the buildings. So we'll be, prior to this, they have not allowed people to be in the buildings. We used it for offices, for oral histories and things, but they'll actually get a tour and learn about what's in the building. So you can reach us for more information on that. Another thing that we do is publish books. We have a number of publications on Skagit history that have been written through the years. Our most recent are a book called Lost Cities of Skagit County that Mary Densmore wrote about those places that were once big towns. They were maybe logging towns or mining towns, or they thought the train was going to come through their area. So they built a town and the train went somewhere else, or the trees were gone, or the mine played out. And so now they're just a name that we hear. And so Mary's written this book. She's has a folder in the file for the next edition, because people come and go, well, what about this place? And what about that place? Because there are so many places that were once a big part of Skagit history and have been kind of lost. And now there may be a road name or just a place in someone's memory. So we're going to continue to tell those stories. Another new book that we have is called Steamboat Town. It's the history of LaConner. It was written by Thomas Robinson, not to be confused with Tom Robbins, but Thomas Robinson. He was a history professor. He grew up in Skagit on McLean Road, and then became a history professor, traveled around the world teaching, came home to retire, and then started writing this book. Unfortunately, he passed away before he was able to finish it, but he deeded it to the museum, and we had a local author was able to edit it down, because Dr. Tom, being an academic, if we would have printed the original book, it would have been like this thick. So now it's been kind of trimmed down to a grit telling the story of the first folks that came and settled in LaConner. You also on your table received our barn map. This is something we do in conjunction with the Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation. They have a heritage barn registry. And I'd encourage you, if you have a barn or if you know somebody in the area that has a barn that is not on this, that they should contact the DAHP and get their barn registered. It's not restrictive. I often, when I pitch it to people that have barns, they go, no, I want to be able to do whatever I want to do with my barn. This is not restrictive like a heritage home or other buildings that are on heritage registries. They want these barns to survive. They want them to be working barns. And so they have a grant program. So if you're on the register, you can apply for funding to help with the repairs. We've got a number of barns here in the county that have had new roofs put on or been jacked up and new foundations put under with help from this grant program. So I encourage you to look at these. We have more heritage barns in our county than any other county in the state. And when I asked them why, they said Jeannie Youngquist, who was the county auditor for a period of time, she was on the commission, and she would literally go door to door, drive around and saw somebody with an old barn, and she'd go and hand them the application and say, fill this out. You need to get your barn on the register. Plus, our weather, I guess, is better than the east side, where with the cold and the hot, the barns don't last as long. And so it's a great resource for us to have these barns. We had a woman called a couple of weeks ago. They live in Chicago. They'd been out here once and did the barn tour. And she said, do you have a new map? Can you send it to me? Because we're planning our trip. And the major part of our trip is doing the barn tour while we're in your county. So enjoy those. So how can you be a part of preserving the history of Skagit County? You can become a member of the Historical Society. There's cards on the table. We have a lot of volunteer things. And I know many of you, I hope, are volunteering with Joellen and the group at the Sedro Woolley Museum. It is amazing what they're doing there. It looks, I drove past, it's beautiful. I can't wait to go inside and see the new changes in there. And that's great. But if you have the bandwidth to help a little more for the countywide museum, we'd appreciate that too. So we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. You can contribute financially as an individual, or maybe your club might consider giving a gift to us. We have designated funds for school tours, for scholarships, so that the schools can get there, because what we're finding is the districts don't have the funds to pay for the buses to bring the students out to La Conner. We had one class, it was like multiple classes came out, and their bus bill was over $850. And so we really want to have those funds to help, or just to support the operations of the museum. Also, you have a business or it would like to be a sponsor for an event or a season sponsor, we promote you through all of our printed materials and on our social media. And we'd love to have you be a sponsor of activities at the Historical Museum. So I kind of ran through that. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. No. We could consider that. I'll write that down. Yes, sir.
Is a classmate of mine by the name of Kevin Mullen still restoring barns around the county?
I don't recognize that name, so I don't know.
Well, it was a few years ago that he was, and his prognosis was to take really dilapidated barns and dismantle them to repair not so badly dismantled. So I'm guessing that he's probably not doing it anymore.
Yeah, that's another thing that the Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation provide is if you need to repair your barn and you're looking for original boards or original type of materials, they have places and people contact them when their barn goes down, and they kind of coordinate preserving those pieces so that they're available to help if you're working on your barn.
Anybody else?
I see.
Just a couple comments. We love going to the Skagit Historical Museum. It's a great field trip for us, Country Meadow Village. The exhibits are amazing. And I loved working with the museum when I was director over there. I've had some great exhibits. And we'll be going there again real soon for the exhibit there right now. And Michael and I were honored last year to be a part of the exhibit for the I Do the Marriage exhibit. And working with Lainey, just amazing, the history that she gleaned from the community and the detail, the attention to detail that she took with every couple that had their personal items there. I mean, it was all cataloged. We had all the slips, and it was just really fun being a part of the museum and that really great exhibit. So thank you for all you do. Great job back there, Liz. You stand it very well. All right.
The exhibit David's mentioning was called I Do, how cultural changes impacted marriage in the US. And our oldest wedding dress was from 1889, and our newest was a COVID bride. So, and Lainey found wedding dresses to go all the way around the room for the different eras.
I was just going to say, this is really cool. This Heritage Barns of Skagit County. My sister was really into photography in high school and early college, and actually went through, and that's one of her final projects, was go around and take some beautiful pictures of all the local barns, but she never knew the names of them or the histories of them. So thank you for that.
Is the Gatchis Mansion affiliated with the museum at all?
No, it is the Pacific Northwest Quilt and Fiber Arts Museum is in the Gatchis Mansion. They're on 2nd Street. We have 3 amazing museums in La Conner. The the Museum of Northwest Art, or as people call it, MONA, is down on 1st Street. On 2nd is the Pacific Northwest Fiber Arts, Quilts and Fiber Arts Museum. They changed their name and they made it longer. I don't know why, but that's on 2nd. And then we're up at the top of the hill. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. On behalf of the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, we'd like to give you each a pin. They're world famous, Liz, for standing there so nicely. Yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, don't forget today after the meeting, the Paul Harris Committee is meeting back in the back with Mark Venn. If you can, please help stack chairs and tables before you leave. That's really helpful. Anything else I'm missing? All right, thanks. Everyone have a great afternoon.